Deuces, wild you sickos!
Yeah, take that with you. Intro to the stars, right there.
So Tara told me right before I came up here, she goes, less F-bombs so you guys can make yourself more distributable. And I go, you know what, honey?
Oh, my God.
Hey, I said, that's a great fucking idea.
That's awesome. Awesome. Way to go with the multisyllabic words too, Tara. Nicely done.
Oh, so Thrill, let's start this off talking about one of the all-time legends to play the game who passed away today at the age of 86. Brooks Robinson, widely known as the best third baseman to ever play the position. Do you have any memories, any thoughts, any opportunities to meet Brooks throughout the course of the years?
You know what? I mean, I met him not only through the Players Association because he was a spokesperson for the alumni, but then, you know, needless to say, when I played in Baltimore, I had a chance to be around him a little bit. Just a super man. I mean, just one of the good guys of the sport. And, you know, straight Hall of Famer, like you said, one of the best third basemen that ever played the hot corner. I mean, look at some of the replays. I mean, just go through them, and I mean, it's just Gold Glove play after another, and you know, he did it at old Memorial Stadium. I mean, it was not a really great place to play, and he did it. So you know, and then not only that, he lent his name to the Alumni Association. He led the charge to you know, get, you know, some of the guys who were less fortunate, you know, taken care of a little bit by the guys who are making some cash now. And you know, like I said, just a great person.
So check out some of these numbers. The human vacuum cleaner is what they called him. He won 16 Gold Glove awards. Are you fucking kidding?
No kidding. I mean, that's like absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing.
He played 23 years, Thrill. Born in 1937 in Little Rock, Arkansas.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just some, you know, look, you don't want anyone to kick the fun, right? Like, it's not great, though. Obviously, he just passed away. It is a cool opportunity, though, to go back and celebrate, you know, some of these crazy accomplishments and look at the path. He signed with the Orioles for $4,000 and made his debut for the team later that year at the age of 18.
Unbelievable. You know, I mean, you know, you and I even said it, you know, 86, and you start looking around. I mean, you know, his contemporaries were Mays and McCovey and those guys like that. So, I mean, you know, he was right there in the middle of everything in the 50s and 60s, you know?
Yeah, it says Robinson, his playing time waned in 1976 because of Doug DeCences, who I played with Tim, and, you know, unfortunately, Tim passed away. Doug is still with us, but I remember Doug talking to me about what it was like replacing Brooks Robinson. And he didn't wish that upon anybody. He's like, dude, it's just really, really hard. And he was in his own head. And pretty soon he realized, he's like, look, I got to stop trying to replace Brooks Robinson, because you're not going to replace Brooks Robinson the same way, Thrill. You, for a long time, you know, after you left San Francisco, they couldn't find another first baseman. As a matter of fact, I mean, outside of, I guess, JT Snow.
Yeah.
And it wasn't homegrown by any means, but outside, JT Snow was probably the next guy, but that was, you know, well after, and, you know, his career with the Giants wasn't all that long. What was it like? Just, dude, you came into the league and you replaced Jack Clark.
Yeah.
So much so that they even gave you Jack's jersey. Why don't you go ahead and share that story one more time?
Oh, Lord. They're just saving money is all they were doing. So So when I finally signed a contract, maybe about I don't know a week and a half, 2 weeks after being drafted, after we got out the College World Series and flew to San Francisco. Mike Murphy said, "Hey, look, the only jersey I got is Clark 22 from Jack," and I was like, "That's fine," So I held up, to Clark 22, whatever, and took all the pictures, whatever, and then so I go to Fresno, play that year, and then the next year in spring training, I wound up making the team, and I go to Murph and I go, "Hey, is there a way I can get 23?" That was, my amateur number. And he goes, "Well, that's Uribe's number. You got to go ask him." And so I went and asked Uribe, and he goes, "No, man, not that my number. You get another one." So I went back to Murph, and I'm like, "Well, I guess I'm going with the 22 Clark thing." And he said, "No problem." So that's how I did. And first year or so, I don't know, I got called Jack quite a few times. Yeah, but we have moved on since then. So
Did Jose Uribe ever ask you for anything like, "Yeah, man, you want 23? No problem. I'll take a Ferrari in my parking spot tomorrow"?
no, he didn't even say any of that stuff. He was just like, "No, man, you're not gonna get that." I'm like, all right, whatever.
So, Brooks Robinson, you talked about his work with the Players Association.
Yeah.
Because he ran the MLB Players Alumni Association for years. Yeah. And like you said, really it was just him giving his time, effort, and energy to ball players of the past, of all of the guys that may not have been so fortunate to have these illustrious careers and make hundreds of millions of dollars or whatever. And I just feel like, he did such an awesome job. That was my one opportunity to be around him when he would show up at like spring training and talking about the alumni. I do know this. I mean, dude, how much money that like current players do put into that. It's huge. And it keeps the MLB Players Alumni Association alive and well. And, what a great ambassador for the game of baseball, and what a awesome contribution to, make to the game. And, talk about leaving it better than you found it. I feel like Brooks Robinson did that.
Yeah, no, he definitely did it. I mean, he was like we talked about, he was all about helping, the generation that needed help. The modern day players are starting to make, quite a bit of money. And as you well know, because you were there in spring training, what they would do is the alumni would come in and they'd make a pitch to the current player saying, "Hey, listen, can you just help us out a little bit? Give us a little fund here and there." And believe it or not, when we renegotiated the contract, the TV contract and all that in '94, we also put a little sum aside for the alumni. So, they got a little foot in the door. And then, because of people like Brooks Robinson and people like that have donated their time, their money, their efforts, whatever, I thought that I should do the same thing. And so right now, every time I go to San Francisco, I sign autographs for the Alumni Association. They have a table up in the concourse up there, and they sell memorabilia and all that. And, me being a Giant, and they're in San Francisco, they make a lot of money right there. And so it's my little way of giving back to the Alumni Association as well.
That's really cool, man. The A's, nor the Diamondbacks, nor the Rockies, nor the Orioles, nor the Mariners have ever asked me to come back and sign any sort of autographs. So I can't help them out there at that point, nor have they ever fucking asked me to come back. Now, the A's fans voted me, though, Thrill, to the 50th anniversary team. And so in that case, I got the invitation to come back. Hey, I want to just go over a few of these Brooks Robinson stats and just some fun stuff. I mentioned the 16 consecutive Gold Glove. I said 16. I didn't know they were consecutive. He's the best third baseman according to all the metrics in Major League Baseball history. He's 7th in WAR. That's wins above a replacement at third base. An 18-time All-Star. 1970 postseason hero. I think we're still seeing clips of that when he's making those sick plays down the line. He was the MVP of the American League, an All-Star game, and a World Series. All three. The O's, he was with them for 23 seasons. That was the only team that he ever played for. He had 20 opening day starts. He played 2,896 games. And Brooks Robinson, Thrill, a first ballot Hall of Famer. So on those notes, let's raise up this brand new bottle of tequila.
Oh, look at that, ladies and gentlemen.
This is the Ocho. This is the good shit, man.
Oh, look at you now. Look at you now. All I can counter with is the Blue Mountain Tops, but I like the Ocho right there, baby. You looking bueno.
Hey, so to Brooks, may he rest in happiness, love, and glory.
Hey, keep picking it, big boy. At the hot corner, my man.
All right, Thrill. The San Francisco Giants are fucking done.
Ugh. Well, put it this way. I mean, any combination of like a loss and somebody else winning and crap like that, they'll get mathematically eliminated. But, you know, you want to go out on top. And, you know, the big thing that we having problems with right now, I mean, let's see. Jackson, I think, went on paternity leave, and I don't know, somebody else did something else, and you know, so we got some injuries. Keaton Wins on the COVID DL, so I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say.
Well, I mean, it's not a big deal. It's a team that is not going to go to the postseason. It's a team that, if you asked me before the season, I didn't think they were going to the postseason. I figured that they would be a 500 team. They're 78-79, one game ahead of the San Diego Padres. So who would have thunk, as dog shit of a season that the Padres have had, that the San Francisco Giants would just be one up on them with less than a week to go in the regular season? I think everyone's just disappointed more than anything because of the fact that they were contending. And it was almost like they got our hopes up, and then all of a sudden is like, nah, just kidding. We're not that fucking good.
You know, I mean, hey, look, you know, you pull for them. I mean, you know, you pull for them so hard, and, you know, because you want to make the playoffs. You know, we got a pattern of winning that we've created in this organization. And just to kind of see how it all went down, I mean, you know, I thought that if you'd asked me that our bullpen would have been this good at the beginning of the year, I'd have been like, I don't know. And I think they've done a yeoman's job. I mean, you know, look at how many times that they've been asked to you know, do the bullpen games and all that sort of stuff, and they every one of them just take the ball and go out there and do it. Offensively, to be totally honest, I thought we'd be a little bit better. We've been very inconsistent, but I mean, hey, look, that's just the major leagues. I mean, sometimes you know, you have up years and down years. The one thing that we have always prided ourselves in, and it's something that really concerns me, is our defense. We're last in the major leagues. Luker even brought it up last week. We're last in the major leagues, you know, in fielding and stuff like that. And that does not bode well for a pitching staff that's out there busting its ass.
Mm-hmm. So we talked a lot about it. And again, like, I don't want to wear it out, but they're arguably the slowest team in baseball. They were the worst defensive team in baseball. Statistically, like, you can't argue that.
I mean, you can't overlook that. And you know, I had a big talk. Believe it or not, I was at Mississippi State this last weekend. I went up to the ranch and shot some hogs and stuff like that. And the baseball coach asked me to come out there and work with some of their first basemen. And so we were working on defense with the first baseman. And I said, look, you know, I mean, everybody loves to hit. I mean, everybody wants to be 3 for 4 and up at the plate, and people will talk to their blue in the face about hitting. But when it comes to fielding, I mean, that's like even more of an important deal. And the reason being, and you and I have talked about this before, everybody in the chat room's heard it, is you're going to be 0 for 4. You're going to be 0 for 3. But damn it, you can go out there and bust your ass defensively, make a hell of a diving play like you made in the outfield numerous occasions and change a ball game. Just completely change a ball game by playing defense. And that's always something that the Giants have prided themselves in. And to see where they're at now, and to see, for me personally, like what goes on, before the game and how much defense is worked on, and some guys don't even smell the field and stuff like that. It's like, no, you need to get your butt on out there and practice a little bit more.
Well, we talked about this earlier in the season because we talked about the outfielders and taking balls live in batting practice is the only way to really simulate what you're going to in a game.
Yeah.
We talked about the infielders with the early work and the drills and everything. Like, dude, that's fucking everything. Like, that is what makes you a better defensive player. I was a terrible outfielder when I got to the big leagues. I'm not kidding you. I was crazy athletic, but as far as just being an outfielder, I was not good. The work that I put in with Mike Quaddy, with Ron Washington, that's what made me a great outfielder. I went from being somebody who's never played outfield before college, right? And then when I was in college, I just played one position. So it wasn't like I was this multi-outfield sort of guy. But then I end up getting to the big leagues. I put that work in, and through that work, I become, quote unquote, the best left fielder in baseball in 2007, according to Bill James, with the Fielding Bible Award.
Right,
all the metric, fucking everything. So to think that you could develop into that, it's awesome. But if the work's not getting put in, and I don't know if it is or not, I'm not around there, bro. I just don't know. But I do know, if you want to be a great outfielder, you know what you got to do? You got to play the fucking outfield. You don't want to be a great infielder. You know what you got to do? Take a fuck ton of ground balls.
Totally agree with you. And, I mean, that's the thing. And that's exactly why I brought it up. When I show up, all right, and I don't miss a thing. You and I talk about it, and everybody in the chat room knows. When I'm there, I don't miss anything. I know who's taking ground balls. I know who's taking batting practice. I know who's working on left to right to left, all that sort of stuff. And when I see the same victims over and over and over and over again, not taking fly balls, not taking ground balls, not doing this, not base running, whatever it might be, all of a sudden when, hey, look, we're last in the major leagues at this category, guess what? Fingers start getting pointed. And
as we should.
Yeah, I know. I mean, and little stuff like the other night. I mean, we're in the second inning with a man on third base, 1 out, and we lost track of the outs, and we make a catch in the outfield, and we just sort of vapor locked, and the guy walked home. That was a big run. That's a big run. And the guy was in throwing position. He could have thrown the guy out at home plate, but hey, look, these are the kind of things that happen when you lose. I mean, things pile on, but the effort level should always be there. The work ethic should always be there. And that's what me personally, on the outside looking in, sitting there watching it and sitting there watching how we went about it. You went about it. The World Series teams went about it. I'm not seeing that right now.
So we don't like the pointing fingers, and when we do, we usually go like this, and it's back at me. Yeah. What can I do better? Right now, I'm going to point my finger right there because my wife's standing outside of Studio 22 because apparently she wants to join the show. There would be no other reason why she would be standing there.
Either that or she's wanting to tell us what's on Smell-O-Vision tonight.
Come in, honey. You can't, if you're going to disrupt the show. And the other thing, you have to talk into the mic. Do you realize we're going on 17 different podcast platforms now? Like the mic matters.
This is important.
Okay, talk.
Fire away. Hi, how you doing? What's for smell-o-vision?
Just Chinese chicken salad. Like last 2 days this summer, keep it simple, right?
Summer's over. Chinese chicken salad.
It's hot. Breaking news, because Eric likes to report on the Taylor Swift dating drama, right? Go ahead and read out loud to our listening audience.
Holy shit. This has got to be a joke.
What?
I don't believe it.
What?
Okay. This says breaking. Mark Bellhorn and Taylor Swift have been quietly hanging out per source. They began Snapchatting after Taylor watched 30 for 30 4 days in October. Sorry, Travis Kelce. Holy shit.
You talking about Mark Bellhorn, the old Cub player?
And the Red Sox and the A's.
Yeah, well, hey, he better watch out. He might have a freaking song written after him. He better watch his ass.
It's going to happen. Bellhorn and Eric were on the same team in Sacramento and the Dominican, right?
Oh, man.
Like,
yeah. Look at that. Look at that.
Oh, I say, here, give me the mic. So
give me the mic.
Here's the deal, dude. Mark Bellhorn is one of the guys that we used to go to the bar with back in the day. And this, honestly, was one of my best friends. He was my roommate in AA. I absolutely love him. He has a demeanor about him that is just so cool, so calm, where he also, remember this, like is now, I felt like he gained a few LBSs over the years. So who knows? But like, jeez.
I caught it.
You can't drop the Ocho?
Ocho, baby. We have the new stuff. The new stuff.
So Bellhorn was the guy that we'd go to the bar and we'd tell him, dude, just stand here and look pretty. We'll do the work.
He was the good looking one. He didn't have the gift of gab, huh?
No, he didn't. Absolutely not. But if you got him in a conversation one-on-one in a quiet environment, he's going to reel him in. It's over. But in a loud, gregarious, no, that wasn't your guy. There's no way I fucking believe that. I just don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Now, I wouldn't be shocked. Just because I know Bellhorn, and he has pulled some of the hottest chicks I've ever seen in my life.
And smart ones.
And yeah. Ah, wow. That'd be something else, man.
Look, you know, I'm not a director, nothing. I'm a class rocker in the country. So she's like a genre, so she sort of lost me.
She started
one of them numbers.
You got to remember her, right?
Yeah, whatever. I know if you're 14 years old, everybody freaking goes crazy over her. So anyway.
Oh, it's crazy. Can I click that? So
you can click that, but
what happens to Will if I click that?
Nothing. We just got the chat going. I mean, Tara wants to, I get it, honey. If you want to go downstairs.
Eric, quit poking around on the freaking.
I know.
Otherwise we'll lose
just
you.
leave it alone. Good night, honey.
Good night,
I love
Will.
you.
You got it, Tara. Good luck with your chicken salad.
What do you mean chicken salad? That's it?
Chicken salad.
Yeah, but like
Chinese chicken salad. She's put a little freaking lettuce and noodles and all that shit in there.
Chicken salad?
Hey, while we're talking about this, all right, while we're talking about this,
Tuesday.
Hey, we talked about, defense, offense, all that sort of stuff. But, this is part of, the new rules of baseball and all that sort of stuff. So I was telling you, Luke Jackson, he went on the paternity leave, so then he had to lead the team. They call up Sean Jaley. This is the 8th time that Jaley's been up on the major league level. And he has, all right, let me see. He's been optioned 5 times. So if they take him off, if Jackson comes back and they take Jaley off, they opened him up to waivers, and you're talking about a number 2 pick, so you almost expose one of our number 2 picks. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next 5 days of the season.
Well, you can't do that, can you?
No, I mean, if you open him up like that, then somebody can come in here, scoop him up.
Okay, Thrill, I have something right here that is fascinating. And we play in a day and age where matchups are important for all teams. But ultimately, we both believe, and I'll speak for us, that consistent playing time is as important, if not more important, than, say, matchups in the long run when it comes to getting the most out of your players. So the San Francisco Giants tonight, their starting lineup, I'm going to rip through.
All right, let me go to the lineup here. I'll pull it up too.
Okay.
All right, go ahead. I'm on you. Go.
It's Lamont Wade Jr., 17 homers, 45 runs driven in. Yastrzemski, 15 and 43. J.D. Davis, 18 and 69. That's the leader in the clubhouse. Peterson, 15 and 51. Estrada, 13 and 48. Conforto, 15 and 58. Luciano, 0 and 0. Sable, 13 and 44. And then Fitzgerald, 1 and 3.
And then we left out the one that's not in the lineup is Wilma Flores, who's 22 and like 59 or something like that.
Okay. So wildly regarded as the best team in baseball going into the widely regarded as the best team in baseball going into the postseason is the Atlanta Braves. They are 156. Tonight's starting lineup: Ronald Acuna Jr., 40 and 101. Ozzie Albies, 32 and 104. Austin Riley, 37 and 96. Matt Olson, 53 and 133. Marcell Ozuna, 36 and 90. Orlando Arcia, 17 and 64. Michael Harris II, 18 and 54. Sean Murphy, 21 and 68. And then Kevin Pillar, 8 and 30. There is your best.
They got two guys. They got two guys in their lineup that have less than our starting 9. The other 7 have all more than our starting 9.
Yes.
So here's another thing too. I mean, there's a lot of platooning going on and stuff like that, and I don't know exactly how many at bats all of these guys got, but you would think, they would be above 50 RBIs for the year, and just they're not. I mean, and if you ever notice, we hit a lot of solo homers. That's kind of who we are right now.
Don't you think, though, that, and this is going to go back to what we were talking about. I feel like we're beating a dead horse now, but when you have those everyday guys, because you could tell, the first 8 guys in the lineup are basically everyday guys. And when you have those guys that are getting that consistent playing time, that are able to pile up those gigantic numbers, the overall slugging percentage for the Atlanta Braves, you won't even fucking believe this. It's 501.
I don't even want to guess. It's probably 890 or something like that.
No, overall just slugging is 501.
Oh.
Just slugging. Yeah. It's insane.
No, that's awesome.
So, and that's as a team.
Yeah. Yeah. But, Ryan just came on the chat room. He said something about Webb talking about playing cards is more important in the clubhouse than taking winning seriously. Did you read any articles about that? I didn't hear anything about that.
Really?
Yeah. Ryan, you're gonna have to give up the dirt on that. I didn't hear anything about that, because normally when somebody talks shit, Byrnesy and I find out about that.
Yeah, well, we typically do, but I would have to say that if that is the case, that's an issue. Now, I would also make the argument that you go into any major league clubhouse and the boys are going to be playing cards.
Yeah,
correct?
Agreed. And that's the thing. I mean, they're going to relax a little bit, but if you're playing cards when you should be on the field, or playing cards when you're in the batting cage and not on the field, or whatever it is, I can't agree with that. So one of them things.
No, but I think we've
Linda says it's on social media. I'm not a social media dude, so I don't know what the hell's going on there. But
it says Andrew Bagley wrote that they're taking a certain card game very serious, and some guys seem like they aren't upset when they lose like they should. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate that.
Okay, I appreciate that. Appreciate you clearing that one up. I put it this way. I mean, I know him just because I've been around the clubhouse a lot, but Baggerly, I can take what he says with a grain of salt. I can take it as far as I can throw him. He's definitely a little backstabber at times. So, for me personally, I've seen the card games and all that, but I'm out on the field. When it's time to be on the field, I'm on the field. And like I told you before, I know who's there and I know who's not. And I also know who needs more work and I know who needs less work because they're doing their job out there. So
Thrill, if I were to run a big league team, the way I'm looking at this, because I think this is what happened. We got lost. Like, we've literally have let the prisoners run the asylum. And if you want to take it back to the old school, and one of your teammates, for example, was the manager in Reno, Brett Butler.
Yeah.
And I had heard all sorts of different things about Brett Butler when it came to managing. And I do know that he was very hands-on. Well, with Brett Butler as the manager in Reno, we would take infield every day. We would hit on the field every day. You were expected to be in the stretch line every day. Early work every day. And at first, I was like, what the fuck, dude? I'm on a rehab assignment. I'm trying to get my hamstring right. And so I was a little separated from all of it because I would do the stretching on my own. I had these exercises I had to go through. But after a while, let's just call it like a week, and I watched the way they went about their business, man, I fucking loved it. It was a reminder of how awesome the game used to be with all that work that we put into it.
Right. So this is the one thing, and especially when they give me an opportunity to address the teams when I go into the minor leagues, if they do give me an opportunity. And here's another thing. I won't even be asked. I'll just come out and say it. All right. In the middle of a hitters meeting or in the middle of a pitchers meeting is, hey, look, boys, when we come out here to work, all right, you're looking around. You think it's your teammates and the coaching staff that's out here. No, look up in the stands. Every day you're out on the field, there's at least 3 or 4 scouts that are in the stands. You know that because you played and you had to play in front of them. There's at least 3 or 4 scouts in the stands, and they're writing reports. And so I tell everybody, I'm like, look, not only are you out here improving your game, but you're showing off for somebody else because you might not make it to the major leagues with the San Francisco Giants, but you might make it with another team in a trade or whatever because somebody sitting in those stands likes you a lot. And, then all of a sudden I think the kids start to get it, and you start seeing a better effort out on the field. You start seeing everybody doing a little bit better work.
Okay, so the Giants basically have San Diego here tonight. Tomorrow they have San Diego again, another 6:45 start. And then they have Thursday off, it looks like.
Thursday's off, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday against the hated Dodgers.
Yeah, that's it, man. I mean, you chalk it up. So, look, I wanted to kind of avoid this question, but I'm not going to because this is no filter, and I'll let you answer it how you want. And if it's too over the top, I'll make sure to not put it on fucking TikTok. But there's already been one coaching change. Brian Bannister is not going to return. He's taken some sort of position with the White Sox as the pitching coordinator or strategist or whatever. And they're expecting more changes within the organization, potentially from the manager on down. What changes do you think will be made, should be made? And, ultimately, I don't even want to put you on a hot spot like that.
I get what you're saying. I get exactly what you're saying. And, I mean, you got to look at it this way. I mean, this year has not gone the way they wanted it to. Last year has not gone the way that they wanted to. And in the past, people get hacked. They get their jobs chopped. And, there should be some people that should be squirming in their chairs right now. I got some people in mind. I'm not going to come out and say it. But whenever you're last in a category in the major leagues, that does not bode well for your job security, if you know what I'm saying.
No.
And so anyway, for me personally, I hated to see it. I hated to see a coach get whacked, and that's why I was like, hey, look, we need to win. We need to win every year. Even if we don't win, the title, we need to be on that other guys would not lose their jobs, guys that have been in the clubhouse with us the whole year. And it's unfortunate, but that's the way it is. I mean, look at how many people, are getting into, this game from the analytics end of things. And guess what? If our guys that are analytical aren't doing the analytical stuff, well, then let's get another analytical guy in here. So you never know.
Yeah, I think you have to consistently be thinking about how you can improve in every single arena.
Yeah.
Like no matter what.
Oh, yeah.
What's the first eyesore is probably the defense. Let's start there. How are we going to defensively get better? So I would go to the defensive coaches. I would go to the analytics. I don't know if it was a positioning thing, but obviously just from a fielding percentage wise, they were the worst in all of baseball. So I don't know, man. I look.
Hey, look. I mean, it's just a fact. It's just a fact. When you lose ownership, fans, the whole works, they are not going to sit around and keep taking the freaking right crosses to the cheek. They're gonna make an adjustment, and it's happened throughout the history of baseball. The history of baseball is if you don't win, there's changes to be made. And for me personally, hey, look, the game's changed so much. There's a lot of blame to go around. There's a lot of blame to go around. I mean, you can point your fingers at a lot of individuals, and that's just the way it is. Hey, look, you want to be, a stand-up guy or whatever. Hey, stand in front of the mirror every day. Hey, I screwed up. I didn't take care of my job, whatever it is. All right. But don't go freaking hiding and expect to have job security.
Yeah, it's the reality of any industry is that when you don't have the success that you were expected to have, then there are changes that are going to be made. The question is going to be, is it going to mean that Farhan Zaidi is the one who is accountable? Is it Gabe Kapler? Is it the other 15 members of the coaching staff? It's sort of like, well, where do you start? I think there's a lot of good that Farhan's done. I do.
Oh yeah. He's done a lot of good for the organization, and he's the figurehead right now. He's right under the ownership group. And so, for to be the fans that are going to get rid of Farhan, if anything happens, it's going to be the ownership group. Kapler, he is the on the field, representative, and he's a direct, I guess you want to say, for lack of a better term, underling from Zaidi, but he's the guy that runs the day-to-day stuff. And if things go south on his watch, hey, look, the people are going to start, taking note of that. And, look, what was it? 2 years ago, 3 years ago when we had the 107 wins?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you don't really think about it, but I mean, that's pretty good distance in the rearview mirror right now. So, you know, it's kind of the old adage, what have you done for me lately?
Yeah, and that's interesting because they did win 107 games. They were platooning. They're doing a lot of the same shit they're doing now, and it worked. And Farhan was getting exalted as this great savior of the Giants and new analytics. Kapler was the guy that apparently pushed all the right buttons. Well, you know, they didn't get out of the divisional round, and they had that epic Game 5 with the Dodgers. But is it? I just, and I don't know the answer to it, Thrill. And that's, is it time to make a change? I don't know if I would make a change at the top with Farhan. It just doesn't seem like a fair shake, being that they haven't spent. Now they've spent some money, don't get me wrong, but you know, they've went after a couple of the top free agents. But now we're at the point where if Kapler, let's just say he's walking a really on thin ice at this point. Yeah, I mean, he's got to be, right. And the coach,
you know what? I don't know, but you know, I mean, hey, look, you know, whenever you lose, I'm telling you, whenever you lose, it doesn't bode well for job security. And so, hey, look, you know, I'm just here. I'm just paying attention, but I can, you know, when I'm in town, like I said, I don't miss a trick, and I know what goes on, you know, pregame and who's getting to work in, who ain't, and how many people are
okay. You know what, Will?
Hang on. Oh, Soto homered he whacked one to center.
Oh yeah.
Was Brevy to leave one right there for him?
Yeah, look at it. All right, so Thrill, I'm going to nominate ourselves. There's already 16 members of the coaching staff. And I just figure if there's 16 members of the coaching staff, you might as well make it 18 members of the coaching staff. And for next season, you and I come in there, and our official title is going to be the anti-pussy police. And so
the ass-kicking police.
Basically, what that means is that we're going to take all the guys and we're going to make them work offensively, defensively. We're just there to make sure they actually take batting practice, that they are playing balls live during the BP sessions, that they're doing the early work, that they're hitting early, that they're studying video, and that's just us. That's what we do. Yo, bro. And then we're going to sit down and we're going to talk fucking ball with them like we used to do, drinking the fucking Coors Lights after the ball game was over. Correct?
You're right.
Are we good with that?
I'm okay with that. I'm all right with that.
All
Look,
right.
hey, you know, my big thing is you can talk about it all you want. All right. You know, you can do whatever you want. You can have the little freaking stupid ass cards in your hat and look at your hat, figure out where to shit to play. But if you hit that warning track and you don't know how far you got to go to the fence, or, you know, you don't know how to find the fence, get to the fence first and then jump, and, you know, stuff like that, that's a major problem to me. That's a major problem. That should be ingrained in every outfielder. Infielders the same. You know, when you get to the fence, look down, find the fence. You know how far you got to go before you crash into that son of a gun. You know where the winds are blowing. San Francisco, the winds always blow in San Francisco. Know where they blow in your own home ballpark.
So let's move on from the Giants now, because they're not going to make the postseason. And let's go to a team that I have a good feeling is the Texas Rangers and Bruce Bochy. Here is a guy that in a lot of ways is the anti-Gabe Kapler. He has punched all the right buttons. The Rangers, as soon as you thought they were dead like a week ago, had won 5 in a row, 6 in a row now. And they're on the brink of playing in October. Oh, I mean, you know Bruce very well. He was at your retirement ceremony, Thrill. How happy are you for him, man?
I'm extremely happy for him. And Dusty Baker. I mean, two of the old schoolers that do it the right way, and they go about their job the way it's supposed to be done, and that's why you see both of them having success. Dusty and them won the series last year. Both of them are in first place in the West right now. They won again today, and I'll pull for the guys that do it the right way. So there you go.
When you talk old school versus new school, and it's a hot topic. It always has been. It doesn't make we go back to when we played, right? It was always everything was old school versus new school. What do you think is the perfect blend, if there is a perfect blend?
So because everybody is so hung up on the analytical, I like the analytical when it shows me patterns. Right? If I look at a chart, or if I look at a printout and it shows me 1-0, he goes to this pitch, this side of the plate. 2-1, he goes to this pitch 90% of the time. When I start seeing those kind of things, and then I watch video and it's the same thing over and over, well, then that gives me a big time game plan when I go up to home plate. So I try to use the analytical, and then I go with my gut. I always go with my gut instinct. Your gut instinct, and you well know it, and we've talked about it in the chat room, your gut instinct is right like 99.9% of the time.
Yeah.
Just whenever you start second guessing yourself, you got to back out the batter's box. Whoa, wait a second here. I know what I'm going to see. Let me look for it. And sure enough, you're going to get it. I do not like the analytical side of things when they tell me, no, you're going to get this pitch. And I know for a fact I ain't going to get it. So that's when I start having problems with these people.
The other part of it is that they're not always going to execute that pitch.
No. And then here's another thing. You go into a game, all right, and everybody in the chat room, y'all pay attention to this because you've seen it before. You go into a game and a guy can't throw his fastball for strikes. Well, what the shit is he going to do? He's not going to keep throwing fastballs if they're out the zone. He's going somewhere else. And so your scouting report might say, hey, look, 78.6% of the time he's throwing fastball. If he can't throw it for a strike, he ain't throwing the fucker. All right? Or if he is throwing it, first thing I'm going to do is go, I'm going to spit on it because I'm waiting on the one he's going to throw for a strike. There you go.
Breaking news here, Thrill. The Phillies clinch a postseason spot with a walk-off win. So when you look at the playoff picture right now, it looks like we're going to have the Orioles that win the AL East. You have the Rays are 3 back at this point. You have the Twins on top of the Central, and the Rangers 2.5 up on the Astros in the West. In the National League, it's the Braves, Brewers, and Dodgers that have all basically run away with the divisions. So the wild card teams in the American League are the Rays, the Blue Jays, and the Astros right now. The Mariners are a 1.5 back. And then in the National League, it's the Phillies who have now clinched. And the Diamondbacks and the Cubs are tied for that second spot. And then the Marlins are just 1 game back. The Reds are 2 games back. There's a lot fucking going on, man, in the National League.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. There's a lot going on in the National League. There's a lot of jostling. I mean, the Marlins are a game out. Cincinnati's 2 games out, with counting tonight, 5 to play. So, I mean, hey, look, there's some kind of balls to the walls going on in some of these clubhouses. Everybody knows what's available. And so, they it's fun. I mean, it's fun. Playoff baseball is fun. The one thing that for me is completely different was the fact that we just had to flat out win it. And there was no wild card, nothing. You had to flat out win this. And so like 3 is perfect. It came down the last day of the season, damn near head to head. But yet now you're looking at, well, now Philly clinched, but you're looking at Arizona, Chicago, Miami, Cincinnati, San Fran. You're looking at 5 teams vying for 2 spots. Oh God. It came off.
Take a look at this.
Lid. Oh God.
JD Davis banged the ball against the right field wall. He was hesitant going around second, and he eventually did. And then he comes into third. He actually should get credit for a triple because he was safe, but then he slid past the bag. And in the process of it, looks like he fucking wrecked his shoulder.
Yeah, no, he tried to reach back, and then the guy who was coming in to tag him sort of jammed him up. So
Thrill, you just brought up something really interesting because for all of those years when you were playing, they, not all of them, but at least until the wild card era began, you had to flat out win your division.
Yeah.
And you were on a team in 1993 that won 103 fucking games, dude. Yet you got sent home.
You went bye-bye.
What did that feel like?
Oh, that was crushing. Oh, man. So we're ending the season with 4 games in LA against our hated rivals. And we beat Hershiser, we beat Ramon Martinez, and I'm not sure who the other starter was. In the last game, we lost to Kevin Gross. But, in the meantime, Atlanta was playing against Colorado, who were expansion team that year, and Atlanta beat them all 18 games that year. They were 18-0 against Colorado that year.
What a fucking embarrassment. I was more pissed about the fact that the Colorado Rockies couldn't win a single gosh damn fucking game than I was Solomon Torres giving it up.
Yeah, no. It was, I tell you what, you and I talked about it, but Dusty had me go out to the mound and talk to Torres because he was having a rough first inning and he started having a rough second inning. And I went out to the mound and, dude, he couldn't even breathe. He was like this. He was like, and he had the eyeballs that were about that big. And I'm like, Solomon, dude, you gotta find a way to breathe out here, dude. This is not a good way to pitch. You're not going to make too many good pitches like this. And, by the time Dusty got him out of there, the game was damn near over.
Yeah, I know that feeling, though, as a manager, because Solomon Torres had great shit. And you had to believe that, hey, he could turn it around. I think that when you are managing these games, I truly feel like you give these guys in big games like way too long of a leash. Does that make sense? I would rate, like, if I were to go back and think about some of the big games that we lost, and one of them was at the Perfect Game National Championship, and we had our guy on the mound, but you clearly could see he didn't fucking have it. Right. And I saw it right away. Yet I didn't pull him until maybe there was 1 out in the second inning and there were 7 runs on the board. And it was like, what am I doing? Like, why did it? Because I believed that he was going to turn around. And I think sometimes it's okay as a manager, or if it's okay as a pitcher, if you're like, fuck, man, some days you just don't have it.
Yeah, some days you don't have it. And, some days you'll shove it up everybody else's ass. So that's just that's the way baseball works, man. That's the way it is. It's one of the few sports where you do everything correctly and you don't have a good outcome. If you're a pitcher and you got your great mechanics going, you're throwing 96 miles an hour and you spot one up on the outside corner, guy flares one to to left field and they get an RBI out of it, you go, what the shit, And then here's another one, you up at the plate, you get the pitch you're looking for, and I mean, tattoo one, and somebody's standing right there. That is why baseball plays 162 games. Why it's such a marathon is because not that they even out, but over the course of a full year, all of the peaks and valleys sort of make themselves a little smaller.
How did you deal with having a great at bat, yet you didn't get a hit? So you pieced one to center field, line drive, right at whoever the fuck it was out there. Let's call it Otis Nixon.
Yeah.
And you're shaking your head and you're going back to the dugout. How did you deal with that? Were you somebody that would, I don't know, let out a big F-bomb and just it's over? Or did sometimes that carry with you?
Yeah, no. Whenever I did it correctly, I actually wasn't pissed. I was like, shit, I pissed on that ball, My thing was, and I dropped the F-bombs and I slammed the helmet and all that. I knew that either I gave up, I wasn't tough mentally, I didn't battle, I didn't grind that at bat. I swung at a stupid ass pitch that I knew was coming and I beat it in the dirt, shit like that. That's when I'd get pissed off. But if I did everything correctly and just tattooed one and somebody standing there, dude, that's baseball.
Because everyone's firing away in the chat, Thrill, I got to ask you this. Would you ever consider coaching or managing for the Giants?
Well, I've been asked that question a ton, and the modern day player is a little tough to manage for me. I would have to handpick some of my players. I'm not that guy that's gonna come all the time, pat you on the back, tell you how great you are when I know you're sucking hind tit. So
I know you could do it. I've spent enough time with you, dude. I get it. We're not together every single day by any means. We've never coached a team together, but basically for the past 2.5 years, you and I have come on here on No Filter Network and we've talked baseball. And so when it comes to managing, coaching, whatever it is in the baseball realm, I would have as much faith in you as anybody that I've ever been surrounded with in the game of baseball. But I also do know that there's a lot more that goes into that than say just coaching or just managing. It's a complete and total lifestyle adjustment. Is it something that you've ever considered?
You know what? I've definitely considered it. I love the X's and O's, and I love and I mean, I don't want to downplay this, but I love the gut instinct, hey, this guy might get hot today, or, hey, this guy had some good swings yesterday. I'm thinking today's his day. I'm not going to let some analytical person tell me, oh no, he can't hit today. It's like, you can tell me whatever the shit you want to tell me, but my gut instinct says that this guy's getting ready to break out. I'm going to play. And that's where I would have a lot of problems with the kind of modern day game. And believe it or not, and because I talked to him, I talked to Dusty Baker and I talked to Bruce Bochy, and those guys, even though they listen to the analytical dudes, they got to walk that fine line, because they need to get their gut instinct involved.
Well, it's interesting because Bob Melvin is another guy that has the analytics shoved down his throat, whether it was when he was with the A's or now with the Padres. But there's a feeling that you have to act upon when you are coaching and you are managing. And dude, when somebody's swinging the bat well, I couldn't imagine, like, you got your hottest hitter, say he had 3 knocks the day before, he went bridge, and
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, I'm getting a note from the front office telling me that, Bobby Bombs is not playing fucking today.
Right,
And
exactly.
my message back to him would be, go fuck yourself and suck a dick along the way. I mean, good golly, right? Like, I mean, that's probably why my phone's not ringing off the hook. But I couldn't deal with that. Like, there's common sense in all of this, and that comes with that gut feeling, right?
Yeah, you got it. Hey, let me run this one by you because and I've heard this. If I've heard it once, I've heard it 1,000 times. Kari Baxter just even put on the freaking thing about some sort of ego. All right, baseball players don't have ego as much as they have confidence. All right, you go out there every day for 8 months out the year. You don't, and guys like me and you, we didn't take days off. We go out there every day and we bust our ass to do a job that's really tough to do. And not only is it really tough to do, but it's failure oriented at its hardest. I mean, you succeed 3 out of 10 times and you're one of the best. All right. And that's not even saying, like we talked about before, the 6 or 7 other times up at the plate where you catch one right on the screws.
Yeah.
So, it's not ego; it's a confidence thing. You have to go out there. You have to work your ass off to become one of the best that are out there. Then, when you get in the batter's box or you get on the pitcher's mound, you have to know that you are one of the best, and you have to know that when the pitcher cuts the ball loose, I'm going to do my job. Or if you're the pitcher, when I grab the ball, I'm going to throw this pitch. I'm going to locate it right here. I'm going to change the speed. I'm going to make it move, whatever it is. And so, a lot of people talk about ego and all that. It's confidence, baby. I worked my ass off to be one of the best. You worked your ass off to be one of the best and be a freaking big leaguer for as long as you were. And, you sit there and you look at Major League Baseball over the course of the big leagues, which you're dating back to the 1870s. There's only been 23,000 players that have been in the major leagues. And look at the population, in the United States, much less the planet. All right. And you are one of the top. Hey, look, you deserve everything you get. So I can tell you one thing right now. You say it's ego or you say whatever you want to say, you can kiss my ass because I worked my ass off to be one of the best. I came up in the crucial situations and I proved that shit. And too bad if you don't like it.
So, Thrill, I could not agree with you more. I think that as baseball players, our confidence is tried on a nightly basis because it's a game of failure. And to be able to have that confidence and have that resilience element is everything. It's interesting because Battleborn Mike is in the chat firing away. And he says,
Mike's working on tri-tip and shit like that. Oh, by the way, Mike, I picked up 150 pounds of alligator today. So you will be having alligator in your future.
Did you hear about the alligator in Florida that ate the woman?
Yes, I did. Matter of fact, that made big news down here as I was taking 6 guys from Reno, Nevada out to kill alligators that day.
Come on.
Yeah.
So was Battleborn Mike down there?
Battleborn couldn't make it. He had to work, but some of the other idiots that we went shooting with, they all made it down there. We caught a 10-footer, an 8-footer, and some little dudes.
Well, dude, I mean, yeah, you guys are shooting up the alligators, and they're fucking eating people. They ate this woman, and we're still trying to figure out the details of what happened. But that fucker had a full belly, man.
Yep. No, it was bits and pieces. So, I mean, hey, look, that's the problem that they're having down there in Florida is, I mean, everybody and their grandma got a little canal running through their backyard, and these gators get up in there, and they're just waiting on some prey. That's why, That's why, like, everybody and their grandma's dogs disappear left and right, or cats disappear. It's like, hey, the alligator doesn't care.
Linda says, my point was that the modern player is that they're not easily coachable due to being egotistical. Maybe egotistical is too strong a word. Yeah, I don't know if that's it. I actually think
here's
modern
the
player is
thing.
soft.
Here's the thing. Yeah, but check this one out. I mean, like we said, egotistical, whatever. But when you are not playing up to a standard, all right, and you have a Willie Mays or Willie McCovey or, Gaylord Perry or Juan Marichal, you have those guys coming around, use them. They've been there. They've done it at the highest level. When you have an Eric Byrnes come around, when you have a Will Clark come around, use them. Don't sit there and say, I can't do that. Well, guess what? If you can't do it, you're still going to be hitting 240, and we're going to have the results that we're having.
Yeah, one of my biggest issues in the big leagues when I got there was that the big league coaches were scared to coach. I hated that. I wanted to be coached. When I went into a rut, I wanted somebody to tell me how to get out of it. I wanted some guidance. Even if you're bullshitting me, whatever it is, tell me, hey, man, try a little bit more of a bat tip. Like, set a little bit earlier. Whatever it is. Like, I liked to be coached. And I feel like oftentimes, so we're going from there wasn't enough coaching to now, like, we're over coaching, which is fucking with the players' minds.
Yeah, but guess what? You're overcoaching supposedly, but guess what? The player has to go out there and work on it. If you go out there, you take 10 ground balls or 10 fly balls, that ain't
shit.
That ain't gonna cut it.
No.
I mean, you need to go out there and take 50 or 60 or, here's another thing. And I have not seen this. I haven't seen this year. At least once a homestand, I had somebody go stand behind the pitcher's mound, like directly in line with the shortstop, and they would either throw me picks at first base or they'd take a machine out there and they'd shoot them. And I picked, I don't know, 40 or 50 that day and got myself used to picking the ball. And it's like, okay, I don't need to do that for the rest of the homestand. Next time we came into town, I'd go out to my infield instructor, Bob Lillis, and I was like, Bob, can I pick a few today? He's like, sure, no problem. And so a lot of times he'd get one of the backup infielders that ain't doing shit. It's like, hey, come out here and throw balls in the dirt to Will. I'm like, all right, and that's how you worked on the stuff. But, I haven't seen a first baseman pick a ball this year over at first.
So one of the things that we were doing the other day with Biscuit and Gianni were we were hitting fungos to them at second base, and they were picking it and dropping the tag down as if the throw's coming in from the catcher. Another thing that we've done with our first baseman is take a fungo and hit it over to the first baseman and have them pick with that. Dude, these are drills that are done at the youth level of 12U baseball. Why would they not be done at the fucking big league level?
Correct. And here's the thing, guys, a lot of guys do what you kind of just said. They want to stand out at shortstop and they want to hit your fungos over to first base. I'm like, when the fuck is anybody going to be standing at shortstop hitting me a fungo? No, grab a ball and throw that son.
Okay, you want to throw it
there, and then I can simulate picking it from that angle, And it's how everything's changed. I mean, here's another one. All right, and this is a personal preference. All right, but I get why guys are doing it. They got the little underarm toss like this, behind the L screen, and they're underarm tossing like that. All right. So instead of looking right here, which is where you should be looking for the baseball, now you're looking down here, and the ball's coming up at you. When are you ever going to see a Tyler Rogers? There's only one Tyler Rogers in the major leagues right now.
Yeah.
Everything else is going to be up here. Well, why not throw the ball from up there?
I agree with that. I actually went so far to build a batting cage in Arizona at my house that simulated what would be like a 6'4" pitcher's release point. So I had the iron mic, and then I put it up on planks. And so it was releasing from up here.
Like fire. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, shit, yeah. I would do it right now with the cage that we have built down the road here, but Biscuit is 12, so
Right.
their release point is actually lower, so we don't have it up on anything. But as he gets older, I will go ahead and do that. All right, dude. Look, I gotta go. I got the family downstairs. I opened up a pack of 87 tops. I'm gonna give you one card and one card only, and we need a story about this guy. And I will just tell you that before I show you, this is one of the most fantastic dirt squirrels I've ever seen.
Oh my God. All right, which one is this one?
It looks like a fucking raccoon is perched on his upper lip. Ladies and gentlemen, Greg Minton.
Oh my God, the Moon Man. I love him. He was just at Mike Murphy's retirement party. I just had a chance to spend some time with Mooney. He's married now. I think he lives in Arizona, or if he's not in Arizona, he might have moved back to the Bay Area. But Greg Minton was our closer in '86, my rookie year. He got to the All-Star break and damn near had not even thrown a breaking ball. He just went sinker in, sinker away, sinker in, sinker away, sinker in, sinker away. He just threw 92, 93 mile an hour, just nasty ass sinkers, and did a great job,
Greg finds pleasure in going horseback riding, apparently, according to his 1987 top score.
There you go. Yeah, and he likes to hunt. He likes to, I know he likes to shoot the bow and arrow. I think somebody just mentioned it. Yeah, there you go. Luker even said it. He says he's a Phoenix attorney. I didn't know he was an attorney, Luker. That's a good one right there. But, yeah, he definitely likes to shoot a bow and arrow. I know that for sure.
All right, dude. Of all the Deuces Wild, that was one of them. Thrill, any final words for all of our listeners other than the fact that go ahead and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. If you're feeling generous, hit the fucking 5 stars. It's really not that hard. And then also, if you could put a couple kind words down there, we would appreciate it. It helps with the ranking system and everything else. But yeah, throw anything for our Deuces Wild crowd tonight to finish off with.
You know what? I mean, these last 5 games, they're going to be tough for the Giants. But you want to see some positive things, that come out of these last 5 games going into the off season, which is probably going to be coming up. We're not sure yet. But, for me personally, I just want to see him. I want to see him play with some enthusiasm. You're going to have some young guys that are going to be coming up, and they got a chance to prove themselves for next year. And I want to see some enthusiasm.
Yeah, that's it, right? I mean, that's all we can ask for. All of the things we can control in our lives is what I expect out of my children, out of my friends, out of my family.
Yeah,
enthusiasm is one of them.
Yeah, I mean, we got Kyle Harrison on the mound right now. Or no, we don't. Take that back. We got Brebbia and now it's Alex Wood. But I want to see Harrison go out there and do his thing and have fun doing it, and Jaylee and guys like that have a good time doing it.
Well, did you see?
There was Matt Williams, the big Marine. He just got a little TV time.
Well, the guy just stole third base because the third baseman's playing fucking shortstop. That's the other element of all this bullshit.
Yep.
Right?
Guy gets a running lead at second base, and the position player can't get there in time.
No chance.
Yeah.
Anyway, I love the Big Marine. Yeah, they need to be doing video tributes for the Big Marine every time.
Hey, enjoyed having Tara on there with her Taylor Swift update for you. Enjoy your Chinese chicken salad. And for everybody in the chat room,
see ya!